Hi, you're listening to the Village Kids. I'm Julia.
I'm Erin. Sorry, I missed my cue.
And I'm
Annika.
Mark. Pucha!
We've been doing this for 29 episodes and we still.
Marga.
Village Kids.
Hi, you're listening to the Village Kids. I'm Julia.
I'm Erin.
I'm Annika.
And I'm Marga.
So, as the world is slowly setting up for a reboot, and we've all kind of been accustomed to a new life, being able to spend more time with family or friends and even ourselves, how do you guys feel about like the changes that'll come?
I think for me, prior to the pandemic, because that's when I was in school pa, I would say that quality time with family wasn't really something that I'd ever schedule in or consciously make a part of my routine or my week. I would always be someone who would focus on other things and just if I'm able to make time or if I don't have any of those other things that I focus on, then by default that's family time. And I guess I would try and log in my family hours during breaks. Like if I were to have like our Christmas vacation or our summer break, that's when I would say like, oh, this is family time.
Yeah.
And since the pandemic started, I have to say that's when I really started to see the value of like spending time with my family because I guess I realized that a lot of the times that they were doing a lot of things, I was at school. Like they'll bring up even now, like, oh, remember that time we did this or that? And I'd say like, what? No, we didn't. Turns out they were doing all of that fun stuff without me. And now I truly get like FOMO. Yeah, I feel like the pandemic was really the time when I realized that I didn't really know my parents or my siblings that well. Like maybe I thought I like had this idea of who they were, but this was a good time to sort of reintroduce me and me to figure out and learn more about them. And yeah, so moving forward after the pandemic, I feel like it's going to be a bit of an adjustment. I'm definitely going to try to consciously make time for them.
Yeah.
But also, I'm also looking forward to carving out more me time because right now, like I think that's also maybe a drawback of the pandemic that the lines have blurred between my time and their time. And I'm looking forward to creating those boundaries again, but also making sure that I still make space for that part of my life.
Yeah.
I relate so well to Annika because like we used to go to school in Manila, so like for sure no family time if we're at school, and like we're not the type to like call and be like, hey, how are you doing? What did you do today? Not the type to do that. We're just like, oh, okay, what are you up to? Parang ganyan, like maybe once a week or so. And yeah, ever since our talk about loss and guilt in episode 27, 26?
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, I feel like it's affected me a lot. I have been hanging out with my parents a lot ever since. As I mentioned last episode, I spend a lot of time on the golf course with my dad, and like that's our bonding time. And then in the afternoons, I go on walks or go biking with my mom for about an hour a day. I never thought to do these things before, and I didn't think like doing something as mundane as just like walking would like affect. But I learned so much about them. Like my mom tells me a lot of stories about like my family and like the family tree. Like I didn't know I had that big of a family, honestly. And then, so yeah, it's been a lot of fun. But moving forward from the pandemic, I'm actually pretty scared because my job is the head office is still in Manila. So like right now I'm working from home, but when everybody gets vaccinated and like it slowly starts getting safer, I feel like my boss will make me move back. And I'm honestly really scared to move back. Like I don't wanna live alone again in the four walls of my place. And I don't wanna do things by myself, do all of the things by myself, like cooking, cleaning, all of that. Like it's more fun with somebody around. And eating, yeah. It's like I feel like now I can't take for granted anymore sharing a meal with my whole family because it's not
Yeah.
something that I used to do all the time. That's where I'm at right now. I feel like I have no choice. I'm just gonna go with whatever happens, but it's going to be a waste if I have to leave all of that behind.
Yeah. How about you, Marky?
Oh, that made me feel so warm. I guess like when Erin was talking about not taking for granted being able to have a meal with your family. That's yeah, I definitely relate to that just because I think for me, being able to sit at a table with your family, especially you mentioned you have a big family. Amika and I grew up with such a big family, and you know, the reality of having a big family is that you're always going to be separated one way or another as you grow up. And I guess contrary to the three of you, a lot of what I've gone through is more of like me time as opposed to quality time, like physically anyway. Okay, not just physically, but quality time in general with my family. Um, and I guess that's also my routine right now. I guess it kind of feels like for me, school continued just a little more high risk, high stress, intense. I don't know. For me, I do hope that there will be a time that, and this is why I'm looking forward to going back home in a month or so because I do want to see my family. I haven't had a celebration with my Davao family for quite some time. Yeah. I don't know what Christmas was like in Davao because I wasn't there during the pandemic. I'm sure it wasn't as usual. And I don't want to like expect too much of like when I get home, what it will be like. But I guess just the feeling of being home and knowing the possibility of quality time with my immediate as well as extended family. And of course, you guys, because you guys are basically family to me now. Those are things that I appreciate. I definitely, even if I didn't experience it during the pandemic, I appreciate it a lot because I was able to lean on you guys as well as a lot of different people during a lot of tough times. So even if it's not in the same way that or any of you had experienced it, I think the pandemic definitely reframed how I see family engagement because I know time just goes by so fast. We talked about it in the last so many episodes before, and just yeah, I mean, looking back, wow, those breaks that we were able to have family trips, and then look now, a lot of people are married, have children. It's just like, dang, it's been so long, but it's also been such a short amount of time. Like it just sped right through.
Yeah, agreed.
And it's crazy. Like I literally remember the last time I visited Annika and we had like a quality time bonding experience with like our cousins. And now I was just looking at a photo. Now like two of them are married, one of them has a child, and another one's about to get married, and we were six in that photo.
Wow. Oh my god, I think about that picture a lot too.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, just
Time.
realization that was just what 4 years ago, 5 years ago. And so, but it went by so quickly. So if it's about how I look at quality time, definitely if you have the opportunity for it, go for it. And I think that's why I hope to one day be able to have the freedom and flexibility to do that. I think Erin was talking about it earlier. I guess your job allowed her to have that flexibility for quite some time. And I'm so happy she got that. Like I think she grew so much and glowed up so much just by being around her family. Yeah, when you were talking about being able to do things with other people, I think it allowed you and empowered you to do more things that you wouldn't be doing by yourself.
Yeah.
Right? And I think that's just so beautiful to see. And I don't know, I'm just so happy for that experience you had. And similarly with Annika as well, you're talking about being able to have this time with her family and just being able to get to know them more.
Yeah.
It's like it's so heartwarming and it's something great to look back on. How about you, Julia? You're such a family person, and I think similarly, I've always loved watching you and your family together. How has this pandemic been?
Okay, I think I resonate with each one of you actually in like different ways. Cause same with Aaron Markey, since we were gone for uni for like 4 years. At the same time, I think my family was scattered in different countries. And but I always see my parents, but not my siblings as much. So I guess I think it was Marky who said it best, that I appreciated the family engagement more now than ever. Like we've always been so close. Like our family is so clingy. I swear, like we need time. We need a break from each other, to be honest. But like I really appreciated the time now because I feel like we're all slowly getting older and we're about to like separate again. I just feel like I mean like it's sad, but it's also so exciting. Like I'm so excited for them to like venture out in the world and like live their lives. because I also want to do that and I want to live my own life. Like I swear we all just like we're pushing each other like yeah just go do it like we'll see each other like we'll fly to each other whenever blah blah blah. But it's been good, but also like I think since I'm kind of an introvert now, I really need like time to recuperate myself. Like I really need my me time, guys. Like my social battery talaga is so bad after spending time with fam and friends. It's like, okay, give me like a 3 day break, guys. But yeah, but it's been good. But I'm also regarding the future, I feel like I need to go out more. Opposite contrasting to you guys, like I feel like I need to socialize more with friends.
Get
Like I
that
think this
social
whole pandemic,
battery warmed up.
yeah, I needed to recharge during the pandemic and then just be like have extra batteries on me and go just socialize. Because I feel like I've been just talking to like 10 people max that's outside my family during this quarantine, this pandemic. It's
Does that
crazy.
include the three of us?
Of course.
The 10 already includes the three.
Yeah, including you guys. Imagine. Imagine, guys. I swear, like,
Workers, you know,
yeah.
they are.
I swear. It's bad, but I'm trying to be better at it. Yeah.
I'll introduce you to my friend when we
Okay,
play
Okay,
golf.
it'll be a na.
She's just acquiring those batteries.
Yeah.
We'll bring batteries for you.
Yeah. So, in light of this episode and this topic, Erin,
Yeah. We have big news to share. Just kidding. We had a talk with each other and we decided that it would be best for all of us to go on hiatus for about 2 months and
recharge.
yeah, recharge. And I think we each have our own reasons as to why we want this for us, like as a group and for ourselves. So we haven't really talked about it in detail, but I feel like we deserve to hear it from each other. So let's hear it. What are your reasons?
Like,
I can say.
I thought we were done. Okay.
I think for me, you know, everyone in this group knows, like I, I'm not at the level of like this. I'll make it about me. I'm not at the level of efficiency at work that I am enough to take on full side things. And also similar to some people here as well. I'm preparing for grad school, and I think for me, I didn't know what the timeline was. I never wanted to be that person to I really pushed for it so hard. I never wanted to be that person to say, "Oh, I need a break," because I felt like I'm always the one delaying my postings. So I was like, honestly, for a long time, I don't think I mentioned this to you guys at all, but I was internally, I was like, that's why I'm not gonna be the one asking for a break. I'm gonna keep pushing forward. I'm gonna be late, but committed, because I feel like I have this I do have this issue of not being able to stay by things. So this is such a hard thing, but I think there's also that whole feeling of I don't want to lose you guys, and I didn't want to like lose this platform to talk to you guys. I think I'm sure you guys will have similar answers, but the thing is that that's just how I felt. There were moments that I was so stressed that I really couldn't. I had to ask for call a friend, call friends, and say I can't make it this week or I can't do it this week. And I think I need to get that sorted. Like I need to make gapang and in a way like be able to get everything to be more mellow. Because ideally I can do that, I think, if I just focus on it. And then secondly, be able to check off other things that I've been holding out on for a bit. Yeah, so I do want to do those things, and they're a little more serious, which I guess which is why I would veer towards not doing them at first, because I was like, oh, so like parang I want to have fun things as well. But I guess now is the time that I can do that, to just like buckle down and like get it over with. And I'm looking forward to the month of visiting both Julia and Erin, that's actually going to be in the next 2 months. So I don't think it doesn't mean goodbye. We're still gonna talk to each other every week, and I'm gonna see you guys physically finally. Like, I mean, that's just it. And I'm sure there are other great answers about why we're doing this, but I think that's my main reason why I would be all for it. Just time to get it together, and maybe we'll come back stronger. Next person.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, so for me, really similar to what Margie said. As much as like, I guess I'll go into like why I wanted to continue doing this all this time is because it's the one thing that I feel like I've really committed to throughout this pandemic. And I am someone who I think if it's on my to-do list, I'm really going or if I'm committed to it, or if I've said if I'm accountable to other people, then I'll really make it a point to set aside time and do it no matter what at all costs. But I think it's come to the point where this is the first time where I think I actually was the one who brought up to Erin that I am going to need to maybe take a break for the next 2 months, just because for me, similar to Margie, I'm planning to take a few tests and work on applications for continuing school. And so typically I think if this were like a school thing, I would kind of overstretch myself and still try to juggle and balance everything all at once. But I think this was a good opportunity for myself. As much as like I love having a reason to see you guys every week, this was a good opportunity to, I guess, create that boundary that I don't typically normally do, just so that I can focus on what I need to focus on right now. And yeah, part of me was really worried about bringing that up about wanting a break because I fear that if we don't have like a reason to see each other, then we won't. But then after we discussed it, I feel like no, the thing that's tying us isn't just this podcast, but what's happened alongside the podcast was just our friendship kind of becoming stronger and our bond becoming stronger. So yeah, so it sounds so cheeseball.
Wow.
But yeah, so it's now just the next 2 months is just a time for trusting and like making time for each other regardless of whether this podcast exists during that time or not. And yeah, also making time for things outside of this. So yeah, excited for like our return because I'm sure we'll have a lot more fresher ideas and we'll be at a different point in our hopefully a little bit closer to the end of the pandemic for you guys by then. And yeah, what about you guys?
Okay, so for me, I'm actually surprised that I wasn't the one who asked for a break. To be honest, like I'm so surprised. Like, congratulations, me. Okay, but for some reason, I keep saying that, okay, I'm telling the group this week that I think I need a break. Like, they can go on with, I think I told you guys once. I haven't? Okay, maybe that was in my dream, but yeah. But for some reason, I really can't say no to you guys. Like, I love you guys so much that I
It's
really
like a
can't.
good and a bad thing.
Yeah, like, okay, this week I have to be prepared to talk to them. I'm good to talk to you guys, but like a podcast, the social battery, the communication, I need to recharge. But yeah, but when they told me about the break, I'm like 2 months, or you don't need to go for like 3, Nick. Like maybe after taking all the tests, you want to rest. But no, yeah. Um, I think I'm just gonna take the 2 months break. 1 month for like me recharging, and then a month full of activities with different people. Margie is coming. Erin, I'm gonna bug you, and my new friend, my 11th friend during the pandemic.
Congratulations, 11th friend. You've made it on the
Thank
list.
you.
She doesn't know it yet, but she will soon.
Congratulations. That's all I'm gonna do with this for the break. And maybe like go to school online or find a job.
Deserve.
Yeah. How about you, Air?
I feel like for me, as much as we love bonding with each other through this podcast and like making content that we could look back on later on and learning something new together, I think the past month specifically was a bit difficult for us because it's like each of us had a lot on our plates, different kinds of things, and managing our regular schedules alongside this pod schedule was pretty tough. Like, I kind of had this feeling that although we tried to put on like a positive front in front of each other and for the podcast, like we were kind of dragging our feet behind the scenes because like it was hard. We just were trying to skirt around the bushes, like not really going into it. And it's like enthusiasm that we had during our planning sessions wasn't there anymore. And I think it translates in our work, whether you guys felt it or not. Well, for me, I felt it like, wow, I should be more excited about doing this. So
Yeah.
yeah, and for me, I think I don't want to keep pushing the same thing if clearly it isn't working anymore. So like we I think that taking this hiatus and hopefully coming back with a new mindset and like feeling recharged, excited for the new things coming will be all worth it. So maybe as we pursue other things outside of this venture specifically in the next months, we can hopefully eventually come back with content that will fulfill and entertain not just you, the viewers and listeners, but us as well, which is what we really meant to do all along. And I just want to see my friends happy with me. So like I want that for us again. It's like slowly watching the spark disappear from our eyes. So personally, I love all of our episodes so far, like the lighthearted ones, the funny ones, the emotional ones, the ones where we talked about things that were difficult for us to talk about. So when we do come back, I feel like you can expect us to still tackle topics that will cover many, if not all, parts of the spectrum that is adulthood and growing up and reminiscing about our childhood. So I feel like now that we have all that out there, we can
Bye.
peacefully peace. Bye, Felicia. Friends for the season. Just kidding.
Hot girl summer now. See y'all after.
When season of depression kicks in again, I mean, see you then.
We're
See you
calling
then.
Just kidding.
Let's
But
same sound.
now we can move on peacefully with our break from the podcast, not from each other, and enjoy 100% what we're doing without having a new thing, like without having another thing at the back of our head. So
And each other. Enjoying each
Yeah.
other.
yeah, so like now we can officially just watch movies or videos when we're on call.
Trainer.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah, or like
Joke lang.
we don't have to care about getting ready to see each other anymore. So yeah, we'll see you in a few months. Hopefully two, Julia. Hopefully when we see you, we will look different. I don't know, maybe we're getting a
We'll all have bangs in like 2 months.
Colored hair.
maybe a rebrand. We'll see. But
Yeah.
see you then. Bye.
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 Bye.